It's funny because, when I discovered things like, Dolores Cannon and, Bashar, and they're talking about this new earth that we're creating, and this shift to the fourth density and this splitting of realities. Nobody ever talked about how this place is just filled with people that didn't make the cut. They didn't graduate. So this is like a summer school. You know how like you go to summer school and like they're like, hey dude, you fucked up in school, so you don't get to go to the next grade. So you can go to summer school and you can make up these classes. Well, that's what Earth is. I mean, we're a planet that's full of consciousness that didn't make the cut.
Yeah, it's a hot day. I'm hanging in the sunshine. You should hit me with the splash gun so I cool down. Won't you come on over? We can party till the sun.
I have been talking about making some videos on the Law of One, the raw material, for about 6 months now, and I keep blowing it off. I always have something come up, but I am absolutely fascinated with this information. I discovered this in like 2010, and I guess it wasn't time for me to dive into it. I mean, I think I read like 60 or 70 pages, and what didn't resonate with me was the fact that like they would ask Raw a question and he was like, you please rephrase the question. You're out of alignment. And I thought that they were talking about the alignment of these like trinkets, that they had at the head of Carla on this table. It was like, I think it was like some incense. It was like a chalice of water and the Bible. And I don't know, when they were first talking about it, it's like, okay, well, we need Carla's head to be like 20 degrees north by northeast. And as I'm listening to this, I'm at the same time I'm reading Seth by Jane Roberts. And Jane Roberts could basically channel Seth with like a cigarette in her mouth and like a beer, you know what I mean? Just like, and she's bringing through this such pure information. For me, it was literally life-changing. But the raw material is like out of alignment. Like, why does everything have to be so exact? Come to find out later, when I started reading it for the second time, or started really reading it, I just jumped to the fifth book instead of the first book, because I like to do that. I like to just jump around. And it wasn't actually those little trinkets, part of their like ritual that was out of alignment. It was their questions that were out of alignment. And then everything made perfect sense for me. So I guess about 6 months ago, the YouTube feed says, hey man, you should check out this. I found this one guy, and his name is, I'll put it here because I don't want to butcher it, but TWS Mandelker is his YouTube channel. Anybody that watches my channel, I think that you would resonate with this. I'll put a link in the comment section. I'll just backtrack just a little bit. I think it was about 25 when I discovered the Hopi Indians. And for some reason, that information resonated with me so strongly. I read a couple books, and I was just fascinated with this idea that we had all volunteered to come to this universe, to come go through these experiences in these different densities. And it says basically there's 7 worlds and 7 universes, and we are going to go through each of these experiences. Now at the time, I really wasn't aware of density or anything, but for some reason this resonated with me, that we made this decision to come here. And then, as I continued my process of awakening over the next 20 years, you discover new information that's talking about this new earth that we're creating, and this splitting that's happening, and these parallel realities, and how, we're basically jumping timelines, and there's a split happening. And, I resonate with all that. The earth is this master class where these small g gods come to perfect their manifestation skills. Love it, believe it. I totally resonated with that. But then I remember when I was reading Solomon Speaks. But in the Solomon Speaks, it says, there are two kinds of people on earth. There's the people who were sent here, and then there's the people who volunteered to help those that were sent here get through this. And that was the first time I had ever read, like, what, people were sent here? You know what I mean? Like, immediately I went to, like, who's that conspiracy dude I used to watch? Where he talked about Earth as like a prison planet, you know? God, I forgot his name. Anyway, it's not important. So anyway, I'm listening to this Scott dude talk about session 11 on his podcast, on his YouTube channel. And they started talking about Maldek. And Maldek is the planet that was in between Mars and Jupiter. And now it's an asteroid belt. It's the asteroid belt. So basically they had destroyed their planet. And they were asking Ra about Maldek. And like there's basically an unlimited number of experiences like we are going through. Like they have the first density, the second density, the third density, the fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. So Earth is in the third density, and right now we are shifting into the fourth density. There's two ways that this could go. You can shift into the fourth density positive, or you can shift into the fourth density negative, if that's your path. And I'm sure we've all experienced both the positive and the negative in these densities. So it's not like nobody's special. I mean, we're all part of one. But they were talking about Maldek, and he was like, well, what happened to those entities, souls, consciousness, beings of consciousness, that, you know, what happened to them because they destroyed their planet? And he said, well, you know, Earth is very similar to Maldek in many ways. And basically he was saying that like 97%, an overwhelming majority of the people on Earth are the people that didn't make the cut, dude. They weren't good enough to shift to the third density positive, and they weren't like evil enough or negative enough to shift to the fourth density negative. So this is like a mixed planet. We have people that are trying to make this shift to the fourth density positive and the fourth density negative. And when you have an experience like this on Earth where there's a mix, you know what I mean? Like if we're all sitting here and we're trying to make it to the fourth density positive, then we have a much easier road ahead of us. But dude, we got the mix. Like we have dudes on this planet that didn't make the fourth density negative shift. That means like they didn't quite perfect their negativity. So we have some really negative beings on this planet, and they're trying to perfect their bullshit, their evilness. Well, I shouldn't say evilness. It's just, they're just trying to perfect their service to self. So I just thought that was interesting, because I always thought Earth was like this school for like these masters that come here and to learn how to manipulate energy and to manifest, you know, their thoughts. Well, dude, Earth is like a summer school. You know what I mean? Like, you know, summer school, like when people, you know, you fuck up in regular school and they're like, hey, dude, we can't let you graduate unless you go back and take these classes again, because you're not allowed to skip grades. So like the Earth is an overwhelming majority of people that are fucking flunkies. Like they didn't make the cut. So that's why Earth looks like it's totally screwed up. That's why everything on this planet doesn't feel right for us volunteers. I mean, like everything. Like, what do you want to talk about? You want to talk about the banking system, our political system, our educational system, like the pharmaceutical, the health industry, like everything seems wrong. Like, and I mean, if you can't feel that, dude, then you're on the wrong channel. Like for real. Like you shouldn't be watching my stuff. So I just found that fascinating, that Earth is really more like a summer school instead of this school for these awakening beings, these little gods that are perfecting their skills. So I don't know, man. When I read that, things just made more sense to me. And you know what? Like, I'm not saying that people on Earth are fuck ups. I'm just saying that, like, they didn't make the cut. They weren't positive enough to graduate to the fourth density. And to be positive enough, it's like 51% service to others. Like, dude, that's a failing grade. That's a failing grade. 51%. Dude, you can't be nicer to people. You can't be nicer to yourself. Like 51%. I don't know. And I will say that it is absolute showtime. This shift, in the Law of One, they actually call it the harvest, which I never really resonated with, just because it's got like this biblical type of terminology to it for me. And I've always kind of ran away from organized religions. Like, it never really resonated with me at all. So I never really like dug that, but that's it's. And so instead of saying harvest, you could say graduation. You know what I mean? Like, we're trying to graduate to the fourth density positive. And you know what? The more I read this book, the more I realize that there's not that many that are going to make the shift. And it's not because they're bad people. It's just because the programming down here on Earth is so thick. This matrix is so thick, and people are pulled in such a variety of directions that it just, this planet just doesn't have an overall positive guidance. So that's why most of these people are just going to repeat the third density, which is cool. No big deal. You just keep doing it until you figure it out. But I feel that my job is not to help those people that, how do I put this? I guess I feel drawn to focus my attention on reminding the volunteers who have become trapped in this matrix of this negativity, of this division, who they are. So that's my job. I'm not one of those guys who's going to, like, if you're completely like lost in negativity and fear, I'm not a hand holder. I'm not going to hold your hand. Like, what I do is I plant seeds and I move on, and I know that those seeds will grow when you're ready. So I'm not the kind of guy that like plants seed and like kicks around and like fertilizes it, because there's other people who do the fertilizing. I'm not a fertilizer. I attract a very specific type of person to what I'm talking about. But I will be jumping through this material, Law 1, and making videos. I hope, because it really excites me. I do enjoy this. There are a variety of spiritual teachers on the planet that only reference the Law of One, the raw material. Some of them I don't resonate with. Some of them I do. And this Scott Walkener, God, I'm sorry I'm butchering this dude's name, but for the people that resonate with what I say, I highly suggest you go to this guy's YouTube channel and just listen to his interpretation of the raw material. I find him absolutely, he's so humble, and matter of fact, that I just really resonate with it. I don't need anybody to like have a slight condescending attitude towards me, because I am not going to like I feel like I'm equal with everybody. In fact, we are all equal. So I'm not into that whole guru and mentor type situation. But anyway, man, why is the Earth fucked up? It's because Earth is a summer school, dude. It's filled with people that didn't graduate, and they're here to try to graduate to the next density. But it's probably not going to happen, because this is a very challenging school, because it's a mix between the negative and the positive. And so anyway, I hope you dig this, and I will be seeing many of you in the field for my next session. And I love you guys, and have a fantastic day. Peace.
On a wave of good feelings. Well, it's just another Friday in paradise. So bring your A game, 'cause you know this party won't stop.